Well, good evening, good evening. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another live edition of Carolina Panthers Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host for this evening, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody had a great weekend. The month of May has arrived. Definitely one of my favorite months of the year. But hope everybody's doing well. Hey, we made it through another month. So tonight I wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about a couple of things. One, Carolina Panthers making some more moves, picking up some more folks. I'll also give my thoughts on the overall draft grade for the Carolina Panthers after the NFL Draft 2022 is now in the books. And let's also go over the list of undrafted free agents that the Carolina Panthers have agreed to terms with. And it's quite a lengthy list. It's quite a lengthy list. So we got a good bit to talk about tonight. So it should be fun. And I can't wait to hear from y'all to see what y'all have to say as well. So yeah. Let's get on into it. First off, let's talk about the Carolina Panthers' recent signing. So one of the things that General Manager Scott Fitterer touched on when asked, where do we go from here as far as filling whatever needs that the team has left over? And one of the main ones that he specified was return specialists. And sure enough, it looks like they've answered that need. They have agreed to a 1-year deal with wide receiver / returner Andre Roberts. So let's take a look at Andre Roberts. He is 34 years old, definitely up there in age a little bit, but not too bad. 5 feet 11 inches tall, 195 pounds, from Columbia, South Carolina. Went to the Citadel for college. And looking at, let's look at some stats. He's played on a number of different teams. He's played with the Cardinals. He's played with Washington. He's played with the Lions. He's played with the Falcons, the Jets, the Bills, and most recently the Texans. So he's been around. He's also played with the Chargers as well. So he's been around. He's been around quite a bit. But here's some things to note, though. He has 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns and also 3 punt returns for touchdowns in his career. So, not to mention, one of his most recent plays was a 101-yard kickoff return for a touchdown when he was with the Chargers. That happened last year, as a matter of fact. I believe that happened last season in week 17, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so Andre Roberts sounds like quite a good pickup for a return specialist. Mamba, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream, I meant to say. I saw this question on Twitter, but if Matt Corral starts a full season for us, what do you think his stats would look like? Whew, that's tough. That's really tough. I mean, I think he would be capable. Might be able to put up 20, maybe 20 touchdowns. Interceptions, as long as it's less than say 13, I think that'll be a pretty solid year for him, especially as a rookie. I think that'd be pretty solid. If he did like 20 touchdowns or more, and if he can finish with like maybe 12 or less interceptions, that'd be good. Mamba says, I say 24 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Oh, that would be solid. That would be pretty solid for his first year. I'd say that'd be solid. I think that would be cool. Yeah, I would. I definitely wouldn't be against that. But for Andre Roberts, he has in his career he's got 3,079 receiving yards, 262 catches, 15 touchdowns. He also has returning. He's got 6,716 return yards, 3 touchdowns. For punt returns, he's got 1,862 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I'd say this is a solid pickup for special teams, for return squad for Carolina Panthers. Like I said, I know he's 34 years old, but still, it still looks like he can make an impact on this team. And as a matter of fact, says that Andre Roberts was an all-pro pick 3 times in the last 4 seasons and led the league in kickoff returns last year. So, I mean, not to mention his combined 8,578 yards, return yards, with, kicking and punts. It's the most of any player in the league since 2010. So I think this is a solid pickup for Carolina. And you have to really look at what they've done with special teams. I mean, picked up Chris Tabor, special teams coach. We extended Zane Gonzalez as our place kicker. We brought in star punter Johnny Hecker. And then we turn around and bring in Andre Roberts. Special teams looks pretty set, if you ask me. It's another important piece. May not be as huge as offense and defense, but it's still an important piece. And that looks like that's set. Picking up a guy like Andre Roberts. So who knows? Maybe that pretty much sets him as, number 1 punt returner. Get him on the kickoff squad as well. And I expect to see maybe some competition with, CJ Saunders and maybe some of the other undrafted wide receivers that we picked up, which I'll go into a little bit later. But I'd say that's a big piece for special teams that pretty much seals special teams for Carolina, if you ask me. So definitely like the pickup. It's a 1-year deal. I like the pickup. So good, solid pickup getting Andre Roberts. Okay. Moving on to the draft. Overall, okay. NFL draft is in the books. Overall, what would y'all grade the Carolina Panthers draft? Personally, I give it a solid A. I think looking, especially compared to last year's draft, I definitely give this year a solid A. With what we took care of in free agency to really help bolster this, and then to really capitalize on more in the draft, I think says a lot. Mamba says a A-. Okay, A-, A. Okay. I mean, because really looking into these signings or these draft picks. I mean, picking up Ikem Ekwonu in the first round says a lot, especially with Carolina's history behind using a first round pick on an offensive lineman. They've rarely done it, but the times that they've done it, speaking of which, Jordan Gross, it has worked out in their favor. Because still to this day, Jordan Gross is one of the best offensive linemen that we've had on this team. And especially tackle specifically, it's probably to this day, the greatest left tackle we've ever had. Now, of course, with Icky coming in, that could change. He has an opportunity to surpass him. Only time will tell. But making a move and getting Ikem Ekwonu with that first pick, especially considering what options the Carolina Panthers had with that first round. I mean, with the first 5 picks being defense, Carolina really had a plethora of options at quarterback and at offensive line. So I really, really liked what they did with that and taking a shot on what a lot of folks say it is the best offensive lineman in the draft, getting Ike Ekwonu. The Pancake King at 6'4", 320 out of NC State, Raleigh, North Carolina, my hometown. Mamba says, it's clear they really want to develop high upside players. Facts. Facts indeed. I can definitely agree with that. And, just looking at what Icky can do, with his size and his footwork and just him being a bully at the line, my only thing is, like I said, the bulliness could probably go overboard, could probably go against him, maybe might lead to some penalties or whatnot. But I think for him, these are minor, and I feel like they can get cleaned up. I mean, he's coming in as a rookie. He's been very successful in college. So I feel like there's a lot that can be added on to him. I think my only thing that I really wonder is, does he for sure start at left tackle? Because I'm hearing a whole lot about some folks out there feel like Brady Christensen should start at left tackle and let Icky start at left guard, which he can play both. He can play both. And, let's also keep in mind, let's not take away, even though he only played in 3 games, let's not take away how well Brady Christensen did at left tackle last season. So it's good to have options like that. It's good to be able to spread things out and have versatility on that O-line, which is what we have. So I am very curious to see how this turns out. I think there's going to be a little bit of competition on the O-line. Because don't get me wrong, Taylor Moton, set. Austin Corbett, set. Bradley Bozeman, set. But can we safely say that the left tackle position and left guard, there can't be any sort of wiggle room between them both? Because I think there's a chance Icky at left tackle, Christensen at left guard, or if you flip-flop them, I think you can still get the same amount of success. I mean, what do y'all think about that? I mean, it's something to think about. It's something to think about. I'm not saying that Icky is not going to start at left tackle. That's not what I'm saying. Hear me out. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying because you have versatility in that O-line in certain spots, like a Brady Christensen, like a Ike Ekwonu, you can do some stuff with that. And let's not forget, you still got Deontay Brown as well. You can do some things. Pat Elflein, who can play guard and center. So I really like how this offensive line is looking. And I'm just very curious to see what kind of competition we may see at left guard, at left tackle. I think it'll be fun. Mama says, yeah, I think so. So you really can't go wrong either way. They're both so talented. Yeah, I believe that. I truly believe that. And who knows? Maybe James Campen will get creative. Maybe he'll get creative. I mean, I look forward to it. I look forward to it. Like I said, Carolina has the opportunity, and I think this can turn into a top 10 offensive line this coming season. I really believe that. I really believe that. But looking forward to Icky's production. All right, switching gears to Matt Corral. Matt Corral. Very surprising that, we got a chance to get him. Had to trade into the third round. But, with this draft, a lot of quarterbacks, aside from Pickett, many quarterbacks fell pretty low in this draft. But Matt Corral, 6 feet, 200 pounds, Ole Miss. Looking at what he's done at Ole Miss. His recent season threw for 3,349 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He also ran for 614 yards and 11 touchdowns. Overall, Matt Corral's had a solid back-to-back 2020 and 2021. He did throw more interceptions in 2020. He threw 14, but he also threw more touchdowns and 29 touchdowns. And looking back at film and such, there's a lot of evidence that shows that Matt Corral does go through his progressions. My whole thing is, a lot of folks say, that he specializes a lot in the RPO system. I don't really know how Ben McAdoo is going to really use that, since that'll be, the first offensive coordinator in the NFL that Matt Corral will be working with. So, if anything, I think the question is, do y'all see Matt Corral coming in for Sam Darnold at some point this upcoming season? Because I think there's a lot of hope that Sam Darnold will get it together and will actually have a comeback year, especially with what weapons we have and what we've done with the O-line on offense. But if not, then that leaves room for Matt Corral to step in and see what he can do. But what do y'all think? Do y'all, just from your predictions, do y'all see Matt Corral at some point this upcoming season stepping in to take over? Because, I know you got some folks out there that just flat out want Sam Darnold to fail. Let's just keep it real. Just flat out want Sam Darnold to fail just for the sake of getting him off the team and whatnot. But it could happen. It could happen. Hey, Antoine Henderson, welcome to the stream. Says, yes, Sam Darnold has never finished a complete season. This is true. And I think what may be very unlikely, but possible, if he has a successful year, being that we picked up his fifth year option, do we pay him? That's really something to think about. That's really something to think about, y'all. If Sam Darnold actually does well, do we pay him? Do we actually legit consider extending him? Now, I know a lot of people say, no, not for 1 year. And it took him 5 years to finally do that. I get it. I think, me personally, it depends on how successful he is. I mean, make the playoffs is one thing, but if by some shade of a miracle, if we win the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold, you have to pay that man. You have to strongly consider bringing him back. You have to strongly consider bringing him back, especially if some miracle happens and we win the Super Bowl or even get into the playoffs. There's got to be some consideration. Mamba says, I don't get the Baker Mayfield comparison on Matt Corral. I see a more athletic Drew Brees in Matt Corral with a Phillip Rivers-like releasing mentality. To be honest, I've actually heard a lot of comparison lately with Matt Corral to Jimmy Garoppolo with the release, but I could be wrong. Antoine Henderson says, Sam Darnold is our quarterback, so I will cheer for him and root for him to the tune of 1 interception per game. You know what? That's fair. That's actually fair. Max, welcome to the stream. If Sam Darnold takes a below average prove it deal, I don't see why not. And that was another thing that I remember seeing mentioned. If he does actually play well and does enough to be worthy of that, that could happen. That could happen. I mean, I'm sure we all want Matt Corral to succeed. I mean, after all, he's brought in banking on the idea of him potentially being able to grow into a franchise quarterback. But let's also keep in mind, Sam Darnold is 24 years old. He's young as well. And, we may not like him, which is totally understandable. If he actually has a good year, if he has a great year, it would not surprise me if they legit consider keeping him, even if it's for another year or 2 years, like I said, maybe a prove it year. Just something to think about. But with Matt Corral, like I said, I think as long as he's pretty much clear from his off the field issues, as was mentioned last stream, I think he'll do well. I saw a lot of good things from film and such, and looking at some of his previous games film as well. I think he has the opportunity to grow into a successful quarterback. Now, how long will that take remains to be seen, but you got to imagine that this is quite a big deal for Matt Rule because, there's a lot of thoughts on Matt Rule pretty much being on the hot seat, yet we did draft a quarterback. So if we're pretty much not looking to bring in a veteran or whatnot and just sticking with Sam Darnold, PJ Walker, Matt Corral, it could be that David Tepper's thinking, maybe a little bit more leaning towards Matt Rule staying around for a bit and seeing if they can work together and develop Matt Corral. I mean, after all, hate Matt Rule all you want. He did sign a 7-year deal. Will he last 7 years? Remains to be seen. But he's entering year 3. So just something to keep in mind. Mamba says, I really don't like Sam. I felt bad for him at first, but now after that interview, I really don't like him. And that's understandable. He boasted quite a bit. But if he can do that, and then if he can put action to words, then you know what? I'd be cool with it. But he's got to, like I said, he has no excuses now. He should not be on that field seeing ghosts hardly anymore. He shouldn't be seeing ghosts. Max says, Matt Corral could develop into someone like a Russell Wilson, so I'm excited to see what he can bring to the NFL. Oh, same here. And there was a lot that Ben McAdoo endorsed on Matt Corral. I mean, they already talked about how much they loved the film on him, and that was a big deciding factor. But Ben McAdoo spoke very highly of him. And you know what? I have to see just really what he can do, what kind of things he'll do, with his system that he's bringing to Carolina. Antoine Henderson says, our line was worse than the one he had in New York. What did you expect? Houdini? I mean, well, I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think the O-line was worse here than it was in New York? I don't know about that. I don't know. Well, I don't know about that. I mean,
I had never even.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, he did get sacked the same amount of times his last year in New York compared to this first year with Carolina. I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty even. I think the only difference between the two is slightly better weapons in Carolina. But I don't know. And not to mention, I mean, the Jets, their coaching situation was pretty bad as well. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's kind of even. I think it's kind of even to some degree. Mamba says, I think Sean Ryan can fix Matt Corral up. Oh yeah? Probably can. Max said, I never understood the Willis hype. It must be because he is flashy, but I definitely think Corral is the better play. Great pick by Carolina. Like I said, I can't say that I really had a favorite quarterback out of the draft because I felt like they all had their strengths and weaknesses. So I can't really say there was a particular quarterback that I vouched for in this draft. So I'm kind of neutral. I'm kind of neutral on that. Mr. Gemini, welcome. Good to see you. I wonder who the Panthers would have picked if Ekwonu didn't fall to us. Good question. I would think if he didn't specifically fall to us, maybe we probably would have picked Charles Cross. And if not that, then I don't know. Then probably BPA. That's a fair question, though. That is a fair question. Yeah, that's a fair question. Max says Willis struggled against Ole Miss, his only big opponent. Corral put up a fight against Alabama. This type of analysis says a lot about quarterbacks. That is a good point. That is a very good point. Antoine Henderson says, didn't know Ole Miss won 10 games this year. Went back and watched a couple of them. He is a tough guy. Yeah, like I said, I had to go back and check out some highlights and stuff as well of Matt Corral. He's got a good release. Like I said, I saw him going through his progressions. He's got a quick release. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of tools that he can continue to build on. And like I said, I look forward to seeing – I can't wait to see how he does in preseason. I want to see him in preseason, see what he can do, not only with some of the weapons we have, but, hey, I wouldn't mind seeing him work with some of the ones, see what he can do with a Christian McCaffrey, a Robbie Anderson, a DJ Moore, a Terrace Marshall. I would love to see him work with some of the ones, Mamba says Malik Willis has the talent, but he was in a small conference facing small schools, and when he did face a high-profile school, he got picked off 6 times, which is why I worry about him in the NFL. I mean, I've always seen that as sort of a minor thing, like prestige, school prestige. I mean, my whole thing is if you get good enough to the point where you're drafted, I mean, regardless of the school, I mean, that's got to say something. But no, I can understand. I can definitely understand how that can be an issue because I mean, it happens a lot. I mean, you see those games where it's like a lower prestige school against a higher prestige school. Every once in a blue moon, the underdog will get off the upset, but it doesn't happen a lot, as much as it could. You know what I mean? So that's an understandable concern. Mr. Gemini says he has more attitude and energy than Sam. Oh, I think a majority of quarterbacks out there in existence have more attitude and energy than Sam. Mama says, but I'm rooting for Malik to succeed. Me too. Me too. I'm very curious to see how he does with the Titans, especially post Ryan Tannehill whenever that time comes. Max says Willis could either be Jay Cutler, big arm but never gets it done, or Josh Allen, an absolute monster with a big arm as well. Ooh, man, I definitely hope not Jay Cutler. Oh. Jay Cutler would occasionally, once in a blue moon, give you big yardage, but then there are those times where he will rack up interceptions like crazy. But I'm definitely looking forward to see Matt Corral in action. And, hey, we took care of O-line and we got us a quarterback. So that's a big plus. That's a big plus. Shifting our gears to defense, we picked up Brandon Smith, linebacker out of Penn State, 6'3", 241 pounds. He's got his most recent season, Penn State, 81 total tackles, 45 of them solo, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. He did get 1 interception in the 2020 season, and 2 sacks as well. But man, Mr. Carolina sent me one of his highlights on one of the first plays. I forgot the team he was playing against, but he leveled the mess out of the receiver after the catch as he was coming around near the sideline, and Brandon Smith lit him up. I mean, you could hear the pop. Like, oh man, he lit him up. Whew. Max says, would 2015 Cam Newton go back to the Super Bowl with this roster? Absolutely. Especially with the weapons? Absolutely. Absolutely. If Cam Newton can go to the Super Bowl with the kind of offense that he had and the weapons that he had, didn't even have a star receiver. I mean, his best receiver was Greg Olsen. Yeah. Antoine Henderson says, linebacker from Penn State, way underrated. It looks like he is underrated because, man, that dude can hit. Like, I saw some Brandon Smith highlights. That dude can hit. Like, that's the type of intensity that we need. Now, it sounds like he's mainly an outside linebacker, but I would love to throw him in there on some snaps, maybe some different packages to see what Brandon Smith can do. But one thing's for sure, that dude can hit. He can lay somebody out. Mr. Gemini says the only thing I didn't like about this draft, they did draft a long snapper. Geez. The long snapper that we have yet to still see in action because he's been hurt. The long snapper. Max said, fast defense this year. Drafted the fastest linebacker in the draft as well as fastest corner. And then we got guys like J.C. Horn. Like I said in my last stream, I am banking on J.C. Horn to have a phenomenal sophomore year. Y'all watch. That man is hungry. J.C. Horn is hungry. He is determined he's going to be the next greatest shutdown corner in the league. That man has been practicing and honing his craft this offseason like he wants it bad. Like he's not letting that injury get the best of him. It's like he never even had the injury. Y'all keep an eye on J.C. Horn. That man's going to evolve into a shutdown corner top guy in the league. And I think it's going to start with this sophomore season. Don't be surprised if he starts getting matched up with the opposing team's top receiver. Don't be surprised. Antoine Henderson says, will Phil Snow make the linebacker from Penn State a box safety or big nickel? That's a good question. And if I remember correctly, Brandon Smith, I believe, joined Penn State originally as a safety, if I remember correctly. Or maybe somebody else. Actually, it might have been somebody else. I thought he started off as a safety, but I could be wrong. But that's a good question. And one of the things that he was praised on was being able to cover and run with the tight ends. So hopefully his coverage will be strong as well as far as covering the tight end position. But one thing's for sure, you get Brandon Smith on a free lane to the quarterback, whoo, man. Whoo. Scary. But I look forward to see how Brandon Smith will do with Phil Snow's system. Like I said, I expect to see a little bit of mixtures of some packages. That's what I'm hoping for, and really kind of move some folks around. And like I said, we also have to keep in mind Damian Wilson. Not too sure what's going to happen with Damian Wilson. I know he's out on bail, but not sure what's going to happen with Damian Wilson. So we got to keep that in the back of our heads. Okay. Who else did we get? Oh, yes. Oh, we didn't stop at just one offensive lineman in the draft. Oh, no. We ended up getting a guard, and apparently a very notable guard as well. The 6'6", 325-pounder out of Tennessee, Cade Mays. And I've been hearing a lot of good things about Cade Mays. And, somebody who I feel, and also you can throw into the competition as well. But yeah, from Knoxville, Tennessee, played a little bit at Georgia, and then finished off at Tennessee. I think Cade Mays may see him compete with Deontay Brown. It's another big body. It's another big body. And there's been a lot of good talks about Cade Mays. So I think we're gonna have something I can't emphasize enough. I think we're gonna have something special on O-line that we on the O-line that we haven't seen in a while. Like, not only do we have, a beefed up O-line between the draft and free agency, but we got some depth. We got some depth, y'all, at the O-line. As a matter of fact, Mr. Gemini just said it now. We have depth now. Facts. The season is going to be interesting. True, but I'm excited. I'm excited, y'all. We have the opportunity to see a top 10 offensive line on the field. And I feel like that's going to help, whether it's Sam Darnold, whether it's Matt Corral, look good. Indeed. Because when it comes to Sam Darnold, the main thing it's going to come down to is his decision making. That's really the thing it's going to turn down to, is his decision making. Antoine says more bottles of Aunt Jemima syrup as he serves up pancakes. Cade Mays. Yeah. And you have to think, Antoine, having him and Icky, with Icky being the pancake king, shoot. I can feel it now. I mean, shoot. And we got a guard in Austin Corbett that just recently won a Super Bowl. Shoot. Why did Caden May's father sue Georgia University Bulldogs? I don't know. Did something go down? I have no idea about that story. If somebody else knows about that story, what Antoine's talking about, please chime in, because I had no idea that happened. But as a matter of fact, it looks like the only thing I see here is that I found it. So, according to Athens Clark County State Records, his parents sued University of Georgia because after Kevin Mays' right pinky finger was amputated because of an accident involving a folding chair at the Bulldogs team gala in 2017. Dang. Apparently, it was a partial amputation and fracture. Ooh. Ow. That must be, dang, that had to have been pretty heated. But he did eventually get a transfer waiver by the NCAA to transfer to the Tennessee Volunteers. But yeah, interesting. Very interesting story. But yeah, Antoine, that was apparently why. Due to an incident with a folding chair wedged against his pinky finger. Kevin Mays, the father, and I guess it got wedged so badly that severed his finger. Ugh. Ooh, Jesus. Ooh. Yikes. Scary story there. Very scary. Very scary. But let me see. Anyway, Cade Mays. And then this was another person that I wanted to talk about that we drafted that I actually mentioned in the mock draft that I did that I wanted to scoop up. And Mamba, shout out to you because you mentioned about him. We picked up linebacker / edge rusher Amari Barno, 6'6", 235 out of Virginia Tech. Dude had quite a 2020, 43 total tackles, 28 of them solo, 2 passes deflected, 6.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. And this past season, he had 35 total tackles, 20 of them solo, 1 pass deflected, a forced fumble, and 3.5 sacks. Not only that, Amari Barno had a pretty dang on fast 40 for a edge rusher and for somebody his size. So I think that's going to really help beef up the D-line quite a bit, especially adding depth to what we have. Because remember, the team did pick up Brian Burns' 5th-year option. We did bring back Marquise Haynes. We still got YGM. And putting Barno in the mix, I think, is going to really, really get us some good action. Mr. Gemini says, how would you have felt if we drafted Carson Strong rather than Barno instead and have 2 quarterbacks and have them battle it out? Nah, I think that would have been a bad idea. Because you have to also remember we did bring back PJ Walker. You know, we did bring him back. So I think drafting two quarterbacks would have been a little excessive. I think that would have been excessive because we did bring back PJ Walker. But I really like this pick with Amari Barno. I think he's definitely going to help on that D line. Antoine Anderson says the defensive end from Virginia Tech, yeah, Amari Barno, is fast on tape. Last year, the defense was a Fright Night. This year's defense will be Halloween. I like what you did there. Yeah, I was just saying. Yeah. I mean, who did? Speaking of which, who did Carson Strong go to? Now I'm kind of curious. Who did Carson Strong go to? He did get picked up by somebody. Oh yeah, Philadelphia. That's right. Thank you, Mr. Gemini. The Eagles. Yeah, I was kind of surprised with that. My brother, he was cool with it, but I don't know, y'all. If you ask me, I just had this feeling. I had this feeling that the Philadelphia Eagles are not confident in Jalen Hurts. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm like misinterpreting things, but I just have this feeling. I don't think they're confident in Jalen Hurts personally, but I might be wrong. But yeah. Oh, they picked him up undrafted. Oh, gotcha. Wow. Okay. Right on. But yeah, I mean, and I will say the Eagles did have a great draft. I will give them credit. They did have a great draft. Antoine says Carson Strong had cadaver cartilage put in his knee and his arthritic. So 3 years at best, but he is a dynamic quarterback. Oh, I did not know that. I did not know that happened to him. Yikes. But yeah, the Eagles did indeed get him. And he had one heck of a season last year. Finished 8-4, 4,180 yards passing, 36 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I mean, looks like he did a little something, something. He did a little something, something. But yeah. And then we also drafted a cornerback, Kalen Barnes, out of Baylor. Apparently, I believe, what's his face? Matt Rule, I believe, got a chance to coach him, if I remember correctly. Kalen Barnes, 6 feet, 186 pounds. See, Baylor, played at Baylor 4 years, since 2018. Has last season had 23 total tackles, 21 of them solo, 5 passes deflected, and an interception. From 2019 to 2021, he's had 1 interception in all 3 of those years. With 2019, he'd have forced fumble. He's got a lot of passes deflected, though. Looks like he's really good at getting his hands up and deflecting the ball, so that's good. But yeah, this looks like another rookie that we can develop. I mean, after all, we did get Keith Taylor last year, and Keith Taylor, we saw some flashes from him. So we'll have to see how Kalen Barnes looks. I believe they said he was the second fastest cornerback in the combine. Mr. Gemini says, I feel like at least one of these quarterbacks is going to be a great quarterback in the future, though. I hope it's Matt Corral. LOL. I hope so, too. I definitely hope so, too. But yeah, Kalen Barnes, definitely, hopefully, they can develop him. Maybe get to see him in preseason, see what he can do. But yeah, second fastest cornerback from the combine. And we have a young secondary, so he'll be another add-on to this young secondary. That's one thing I will say. I think the oldest player on our secondary is Rashaan Melvin. So we got a very young secondary going into this upcoming season. But you best believe they are hungry. And I think it's going to be a lot of eyes on Dante Jackson and even more eyes on J.C. Horn. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, those were our draft picks. And like I said, overall, I give the Carolina Panthers 2022 NFL draft an A, a solid A. Those that didn't chime in before, I know Mamba, you gave it an A minus. But yeah, y'all post your grades. Post your grades. Antoine says, can Kalen Barnes learn to return punts, or do you have to be born with it? I don't know if he has any return experience, but do remember, Antoine, we picked up Andre Roberts on a 1-year deal, and it looks like he's going to be our return specialist. He has 3 career kickoff returns for touchdowns and 3 career punt returns for touchdowns. So I think we pretty much have the return specialists settled, with a few others to kind of compete for that as well. Mr. Gemini gives it also an A minus. All right. How do you feel about Desmond Ritter going to the Falcons? It could potentially be a problem, maybe in the future. I'm kind of half and half on Marcus Mariota. Because at the same time, we have to remember Marcus Mariota, that dude can run. He can run. And Marcus Mariota is playing for a lot. He has a chance to really revive his career. So I'm kind of half and half on Mariota. Don't sleep on him, but anything can happen. And Desmond Ritter, I mean, a lot of good things about Desmond Ritter. So I'm not concerned yet, but he could be an issue in the future. Keep an eye out. That's all I can say is just really keep an eye out. But he could be an issue. He could be an issue. He could be an issue. Because at the end of the day, I'm not surprised that Atlanta took a quarterback as well. I thought it was going to be Malik Willis, but he went to got picked up by the Titans. So Desmond Ritter, that was a good pickup by Atlanta. That was definitely a good pickup. Antoine gives it an A. Who is more pro ready, Ritter or Corral? Honestly, I say they're about even. In a way, I think they're about even when it comes to that. I can't really pick any sort of specific feature or stat that stands out the most between the two. You know what I mean? Maybe y'all can. Maybe y'all can, but I can't. I feel like they're almost dead even in a way. I think the ceiling for the both of them is quite big. The only quarterback that I could think of where maybe the ceiling is not so big, maybe Bailey Zapp, but I don't know. That's just a guess. That's just a wild guess. So please don't take my word for that. Okay. Let's look at the list of undrafted free agents that the Carolina Panthers have agreed to terms with. So, one second. Let me adjust this. Okay. So, here's who we have. We got a good mix of offense and defense. We got the tight end Josh Babbitts out of North Dakota State. Tight end. 6'6", 255 pounds. Okay. He's got a decent handful of catches. This past season, 12 catches, 254 yards, 4 touchdowns. Okay. He's got a total of 11 touchdowns in his North Dakota State career. About a good 500-600 plus yards receiving. Who knows? Maybe he's a red zone threat. I mean, shoot, 6'6", 255. He could. Who knows? Maybe he could be a red zone threat. Maybe he's maybe he's more of a receiving tight end than the blocking tight end. Don't know much about him. But hey, it's another tight end. And Ben McAdoo loves using tight ends in his system. So hey. I can dig. I can dig that. So Josh Babbitts, tight end, agreed to terms on him. We also agreed to terms on another quarterback by the name of Davis Cheek out of Eline. It's another North Carolinian from Matthews, North Carolina, 6'3", 217. Antoine says Desmond Ritter can see over the defensive line. Matt Corral is short. Yeah, that is true. Matt Corral is a little bit shorter than Desmond Ritter. Yeah, Matt Corral, 6'2". I mean, 2-inch difference. Desmond Ritter 6'4", Matt Corral 6'2". A slight difference. A slight difference. Oh, snap. The real Zero Chill. Hey, welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. I usually see you all the time in Big Cat stream. Thank you for stopping by to mine, bro. Thank you. Corral is 6'2", 215. Yeah, 6'2". Yep. 6'2", 215. But yeah, Desmond Ritter's 6'4", Matt Corral 6'2". So only a 2-inch difference, not too bad. Not too bad. North Dakota State tight end is amazing and a great run blocker. Oh, talking about Josh Babbitts. Duly noted. Lamar is 6'2". What's up, brother? I'm a subscriber. It's good to see you. It's definitely good to see you. It's been a while. It's good to see you. But yes. Are y'all familiar with Davis Cheek? He's a North Carolinian, just like me. I don't know much about him, but Davis Cheek, one of our undrafted free agents. His most recent season, last season, threw for 2,926 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Okay, so he's 17 touchdowns. Previous year threw 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Looks like he's did a little something. Perhaps maybe just perhaps a practice squad quarterback. Gotta show some love for the practice squad. So could be that. So wow, so that means we got Sam Darnold, Matt Corral, PJ Walker, and this Davis Cheek. So that's 4 quarterbacks. That's 4 quarterbacks right there. Joe Valesco, what's up? Should the Panthers sign a veteran quarterback? Honestly, nah. No, I think we gotta ride with what we have in Sam. And like I said, we did draft Matt Corral. So I think we gotta ride with that. I'll be shocked. Although there are rumors that Lamar Jackson might want out of Baltimore because Lamar Jackson's not very pleased with what Baltimore did in this year's draft. Something to think about. I don't think it's going to happen at all. I really doubt that any sort of idea of Lamar Jackson coming to Carolina would ever be a reality. But I think we're fine with quarterback. I think we need to just see what Sam can do with our weapons and with a beefed up O-line, something he's never had. And let's see if he can do something. And if not, let's groom and get Matt Corral ready. And that's what we could roll with. But as far as should we sign another veteran quarterback? I don't think so. I don't think so. But yeah, it looks like Davis Cheek may just be might end up just being a quarterback on the practice squad. Maybe somebody that could perhaps compete with PJ Walker for that number 3. spot. We'll see. We also brought in, agreed to terms on a linebacker out of Boston College, Isaiah Graham Mobley. Another name I have never heard of. Played at Boston College. Let's see. (6'1", 230 pounds. Isaiah Graham Mobley. Okay, he started off with Temple. Played at Temple from 2017 to 2020. And then, I guess, transferred to Boston College. 34 solo tackles, 52 total tackles with Boston College. Looks like he's quite the tackling machine. I mean, 2018 at Temple racked up 51 solo tackles. And it looks like he has a fumble, perhaps a fumble recovery for a touchdown or like a return for a touchdown. So that's cool. He has a total of 5 sacks in his college career, no interceptions, 1 forced fumble. The real Zero Chill says Aaron Mosley is a beast. Aaron Mosley. Aaron Mosby, linebacker out of Fresno State. Is that who you're talking about? Because, yeah, I see him on the list. Antoine says Nick Foles. Do you mean Nick Foles? Oh, yeah, the Bears released him. Yeah, that is true. He's up for grabs. The real Zero. Oh, okay, that is who you're talking about? Gotcha. Yeah. That's right. We got 3 linebackers. Him, Isaiah, and Kalen Tolson. Yeah, so we actually got a couple of linebackers to look at. But so that was Isaiah Graham Mobley. Let's see. Continuing to go down the list. We agreed to terms on a safety, Drew Hartlob. Safety out of Penn State. Drew Hartlob. Pull him up. Drew Hartlob. 5'11", 180 pounds. Let's see. His most recent season, last season, 5 total tackles, 4 of them solo. It doesn't look like a lot of action. So perhaps a developmental talent. Played on Penn State, finished a 7-6 record. But yeah, it doesn't look like he has a whole lot of action. So probably just another development talent. Ikaim Hannon, welcome to the stream. Brandon Smith is a steal of the draft. Yeah, I also looked at some film that Mr. Carolina shared with me. That man can hit. Oh, man. Man can hit. The real Zero Chill. 4.22 in the 40. Ooh. Are talking about Mosby. He's going to be a gunner on the punt team. Oh, okay. Hey, I'd be down. I'd totally be down. Special teams is important. Joe Valesco says, I guess Matt Corral is juicing number 4. I think he's going to be in line to potentially take that number 2 spot from PJ Walker. But I can't wait to see how he does in preseason. But let's see. Drew Hartlob looks like development talent. Probably will be on the practice squad. We'll see. But got him. We got a wide receiver out of Virginia, Rashaan Henry. Let's see, Rashaan Henry. Let's see if I can pull him up. Rashaan Henry. Here we go. Rashaan Henry, Virginia Cavaliers. Oh, 6'3", 190 pounds. Oh, he's tall. Okay. Let's see. Played two years at 2018 and 2019 at SFU, and then played 2 years with Virginia. Oh, Daryl Zero Chill. Drew Hartlaw. He runs the 4.22. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Yep. That makes sense for him to be a gunner on the punt team. Yep. That makes sense. Very well noted, my friend. Very well noted. I can dig that. Rashaan Henry. His most recent season, 2021, 34 catches, 630 yards, 3 touchdowns. His best year was his last year at SFU in 2019, 90 catches for 1,118 yards and 9 touchdowns. Okay. So definitely is a tall receiver. Definitely is a tall receiver. KT, welcome to the stream. What's up, Blitz? It's Rome's. Change the name to JT. Oh, gotcha. Well, welcome back. Good to see you. Joe Valesco says, no, I mean the jersey number. Oh, jersey number. Gotcha. Thank you for correcting me, Joe Valesco. Matt Corral rocking the number 4. Gotcha. Thank you for correcting me. KT says, I'd give the draft an A-. Okay, couple of A-, a few A's. Hey, good grades. High grades. I love it. But Rashaan Henry, I mean, another tall receiver. Got to see what he can do. See him out there in the competition with all these wide receivers. Looks like, one thing's for sure, looks like Carolina Panthers are going to have a lot of wide receivers to look at. See who could make the team. Because, like I said previously, I don't think Shi Smith is going to be around much longer. I have a feeling they're going to cut Shi Smith. I just have that feeling. So, I think they got a lot of wide receivers to look at. So, let's see. Joe Valesco says, is Matt Corral fast? Is he fast? Well, I mean, last year at Ole Miss, he ran for 614 yards, 11 touchdowns. His longest run was 32 yards. And his first year at Ole Miss, his longest run was 61 yards. So I would say yes. Hikaim Hannon says, I like Shi. I like Shi too, but the legal issues have messed him up. The drug dealing has messed him up. He's got to make better decisions. You're in the NFL now, you got to make better decisions. Okay, let's look at another wide receiver. Out of Eastern Washington, Talolo Limu Jones. Interesting name. Sounds Samoan. Could be wrong. 6'4", 220 pounds. Ooh, another big body. Okay. So Eastern Washington, the Eagles. Oh, wow. Caught 71 catches last year for 1,122 yards and 6 touchdowns. Longest was 58 yards. Okay. Dang. And looks like each season he's improved. at Eastern Washington from 2018 to 21. He's improved each year. Hey, I like it. Joe Velasco says, have you seen the Honey Badger sign with the Saints? Yes. Tyrann Mathieu signed, I think it was 3 years with the Saints. So, which that doesn't surprise me too much because if I remember correctly, he's from New Orleans. If I remember correctly, Ikeim Hannon. You see Robbie at FCF. Oh my goodness. Refresh my memory. What's FCF? Ikeim Hannon. But this Talolo Limu Jones has some good quality stats, and he's improved each season at Eastern Washington up to now. So looks like somebody to keep an eye on. Finished 10-3 last season, 6-2 in the conference, Big Sky Conference. But yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe he can make an impact on this wide receiving core. I mean, those are some solid numbers. See what he can do. Maybe he can squeeze in and make the team. We'll see. Okay, we did fan-controlled football league. Gotcha. Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was there. Wow. What's he doing there? Just for the heck of it? Hey, that's what's up. And also, ladies and gentlemen, Carolina also agreed to terms on a running back, an undrafted running back, John Levitt out of Penn State. So we're going to get to take a look at a running back from the draft. Let's see. John Levitt. 6 feet tall, 209 pounds. Okay, played first 4 seasons at Baylor, and then his last season was at Penn State. His best year looks like was 2019 with the Baylor Bears. 103 carries, 655 yards, 5 touchdowns. Didn't have any touchdowns last year. 52 attempts, 177 yards. Looks like a lot of his action was at Baylor. So, Scott, let's see. He's got 17 total rushing touchdowns in his college career. And he's got a couple of catches, but doesn't seem like he's known to be a receiving running back. But it's another running back to look at. I mean, we got quite a bit to examine, especially, Christian McCaffrey coming back, which I'm hoping he's healthy. We brought in Deontay Foreman. We got Chuba Hubbard. So, add this guy, John Levitt, to the list. See what kind of running backs that we can get. Maybe another practice squad addition. Like I said, we didn't retain Amir Abdullah. So something to look out for. Let's see. We also agreed on a defensive tackle, Marquand McCall out of Kentucky. Marquand McCall, Kentucky Wildcats. Ooh, he a big body.
USAA is made for the safe pilots, like Sergeant Hayden, who won't return a call.
What the heck? Sorry about that. 6'3", 379 pounds. Ooh, geez, this is a big dude. That's a big old dude. Played in Kentucky for the Wildcats all 4 years. posted 9 total tackles last year, 4 solo, no sacks. Only has 1.5 sacks in his career. Not a lot of crazy stats, but could be somebody that we put in the rotation on D line in the interior. Because we got a couple of folks. We got Derek Brown, Davion Nixon, Bravion Roy. We brought in Matt Ioannidis and Phil Hoskins. We drafted Phil Hoskins. So this is somebody that, could try to, make the practice squad or could make the team, could make an impact. But, definitely that's one of the things that we did need to beef up was the D-line, especially on the interior. So we'll have to see what this guy can do and contribute. This Marquand McCall, defensive tackle out of Kentucky. Ikaim Hannon says, "Are you glad we dodged the Baker bullet?" I guess. I still wouldn't have mind. Because like I said, I don't think Baker Mayfield is terrible. And he would have been an upgrade from Sam Darnold. We have to also keep in mind, Sam Darnold hasn't even come close to sniffing the playoffs. At least Baker Mayfield has played and has won a playoff game. If anything, the thing that sticks out the most to me about Baker Mayfield is his attitude. And he's not really a locker room leader. That's really the only issue. But, at the end of the day, who would y'all rather take your chances on, Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield? If you had freebie to choose one or the other, who would you seriously pick? Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold? If money wasn't even an option or wasn't even an issue, who would you go with, Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold? Realistically. I'm just saying. Mr. Gemini says Baker. Yeah. Joe Velasco, Baker Mayfield. Yeah. If anything, I'm a lot more happy that we dodged the Deshaun Watson bullet. I'm very happy that we dodged that bullet. I'm sorry, $230 million, that was way too much. Way too much for him, especially for somebody that we don't even know if he's even going to even be eligible to play a full season. So, let's see. Okay, I'm going to go to Darrell Chill's pick. Linebacker Aaron Mosby out of Fresno State. Let's take a look at this guy. Aaron Mosby, Fresno State. He is 6'4", 244 pounds. Dang, that's pretty big for a linebacker. Holy crap. 6'4", 244 pounds. Oh, wow. He had quite a 2021. 40 total tackles, 24 of them solo, 3 passes deflected, 6 sacks, 5 forced fumbles. Ooh. The real zero. I could see what you mean. Wow. That's crazy. Mr. Gemini said, "Did you hear about Corral having or had alcohol problems?" Yeah, it was definitely mentioned that he dealt with that and depression, but I was also told that was a couple of years ago and that he is, I guess, sort of gotten back on a better path now. So let's hope that remains true and that he can move forward. He's got an NFL career now, so hopefully he'll be smart and such. Ikaim Hannon says, "I'm going Baker over Sam, but I don't like the attitude either." Yeah, totally understandable. Yeah, Baker Mayfield, he has a mouth on him. But yeah, as far as play on the field, definitely agree. But yeah, this Aaron Mosby, y'all, man, 40 total tackles, five forced fumbles, 6 sacks. He's got 6 sacks in his career and 8 total forced fumbles in his career, 2 interceptions. Ooh, apparently he returned the interception for 95 yards and a touchdown. Huh. I don't know, y'all. This Aaron Mosby might be a steal. He might actually be a steal. Joe Valesco says, we don't want no Johnny Manziel. Oh, heck no. No, heck no. Definitely don't want none of. No, we don't want that. But yeah, this Aaron Mosby out of Fresno State might be a steal. Might actually be a steal. So the real Zero Chill, man, I see you. I see you. This is one of his endorsements. You're onto something there, bro. Most definitely. He's got a lot of passes deflected too. He's got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 total passes deflected in his career, college career. Dang. But yeah, he's got 2 interceptions. But yeah, 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns. So hey, I liked it. I like it. I hope he makes the team. He might actually make the team. I hope he makes the team. Okay, we also got another wide receiver, Andrew Parchment out of Florida State. Let's look at Andrew Parchment. Kind of an interesting name, Andrew Parchment. Okay, let's see. 6'2", 190 pounds. Mr. Gemini said that's pretty good. Oh yeah, I think that's pretty solid. I think he might have a good shot at potentially making the team. He could make the team. If not the practice squad, he could make the team. Andrew Parchment. He's been around. He's played at NIU. He's played at Kansas for 2 years. But last year he played at Florida State. So last year had 24 catches, 313 yards, and 2 touchdowns. His best year was his first year at Kansas, where he had 65 catches, 829 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Could be another practice squad guy, perhaps. We'll see. But it could be another practice squad guy. Like I said, I expect there to be a lot of competition there at wide receiver. And this is proof. This is definitely proof. Oh, dang, my Dallas Mavericks, they lost game 1. But I'm not too surprised. I mean, they are going up against the number 1 seeded Suns. 121-114. Well, it was close. Dang it. Dang, Luka Doncic put up 45 points. So Luka had to do most of the work. And dang, only Kleber did something from the bench. Jeez. Yeah, Chris Paul ate us up. Dang. Oh, well. Sorry, got a little sidetracked. Joe Valesco says, what kind of linebacker is Brandon Smith? Pass Apparently, this dude can hit freaking hard. That's for sure. Oh, there you go, Joe. Mr. Gemini, Joe, a hard hitter. Yeah, I facts. Facts. I don't think I think he's mostly outside linebacker. I don't think he plays any middle linebacker. So Ikai Hanna says, "Do you think we could rise in the power ranking before week 1?" It's possible. It's definitely possible. Maybe not by a lot, but a little bit of a rise I could see. I could see because we have to, at the same time see how things go. But I think it would rise a little bit. Most definitely. Most definitely. Okay, let's see. All right, another wide receiver out of Miami, wide receiver Charleston Rambo. Wow, very interesting names. Charleston. Charleston Rambo from Miami. 6'1", 185 pounds. Played with the Oklahoma Sooners from 2018 to 2020. And then last year he played with the Miami Hurricanes. Ikaim Hannon says currently at number 28. Yeah, I think it'll definitely go up. It's getting late. About to go. See you later. All right, Mr. Gemini. Catch up with you later. Thanks for coming through. Currently at number 28. Yeah, I definitely think it'll get bumped up. Maybe 25. Maybe a little more, but just a small bump. Just a small bump. I could see a small bump. Charleston Rambo. So last season with Miami, 79 catches, 1,172 yards, and 7 touchdowns. His best season, pretty much his best season with Miami. His best season with Oklahoma was 2019, where he had 43 catches, 743 yards, and 5 touchdowns. But looks like he definitely did a little something in Miami. I mean, going over 1,000 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns, 6'1". More competition with the wide receivers. So hey, that's cool. And it looks like he has some kickoff return experience. So just a little bit, just a little bit. Joe Valesco says, "Have you seen what Steve Smith was saying about Baker Mayfield?" No, Joel. Enlighten me. What did Steve Smith say about Baker Mayfield? I have no idea. Okay. And then let's take a look at linebacker Kalen Tolson out of Illinois. Kalen Tolson. Kalen Tolson, linebacker. Out of Illinois. 6 feet tall, 235 pounds. Only has 2.5 total career sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Last season, 48 total tackles, 28 of them solo. He's got 5 total passes deflected in his career. Not sure if he plays what linebacker position he plays. When he's said no. Oh, are you talking about Steve Smith about Baker Mayfield? You mean like the idea of Baker Mayfield coming to Carolina? Is that what you're talking about? But this Kalen Tolson linebacker competition may or may not make the practice squad. We'll see. Not a whole lot of stats. Yes. Oh, okay. Gotcha, Joe Valesco. I mean, hey, Steve Smith tells it like it is. But then again, I mean, at the same time, Steve Smith has had attitude problems, but at the same time, Steve Smith, I mean, Steve Smith is a better player. I mean, Steve Smith has had some anger issues. Let's not kid ourselves. Steve Smith has a history of anger issues, but if it's one veteran wide receiver that is a leader, that is an impact on the team, it's definitely Steve Smith. So I just think it's kind of funny to hear him talk about Baker Mayfield. I just think it's kind of funny. But hey, you know, it's Steve Smith. So, I mean, it's Steve Smith. And then finally, one more wide receiver Derek Wright out of Utah State. Derek Wright. Let's take a quick look at him. Derek Wright, Utah State. 6'1", 195 pounds. But yeah, played 3 seasons with Utah State. Oh, dang, did pretty good last season. 48 catches, 789 yards, 11 touchdowns. Okay, dang. That's his best year in college. Very nice, very nice. Well, yeah, it looks like he did a little something. It's at the top of this division in the Mountain West. Utah State had a record of 11-3. So, not bad. Looks like he could be some competition there in the wide receiver battle. Ekaim Hannon says, did we draft a tight end? We didn't draft one, but we agreed to terms on an undrafted free agent. And Josh Babbitts out of North Dakota State. Ekaim Hannon, he's a tight end. But yeah, we didn't draft one. But this Josh Babbitts, we agreed to terms with undrafted free agent. So that's another tight end added to the list. But yeah, those are your undrafted free agents that the Carolina Panthers have agreed to terms with. So that's what, 20? No, 13. That's 13. 13 undrafted rookies that the Panthers have agreed to. So, a couple of things that I want to say just to kind of wrap things up. First off, just based on everything that's happened, we got to look at the NFC South now. What do you feel Carolina's chances are of bouncing back and potentially competing for the NFC South this season? I mean, there's been quite a lot of changes that's happened. I mean, Atlanta no longer has Matt Ryan. He's gone to the Colts. They got Marcus Mariota. They picked up Desmond Ritter. They got Drake London. So, you know, they loaded up a little bit more on receiving weapons, although they did release Mike Davis. So Mike Davis is back on the market. The Saints, Saints brought in Honey Badger. Saints made a few moves, bring back Jameis Winston. The Bucks, I still feel like the Bucks are still the most complete team in the division. But I think Carolina, with the improvements that they made, could potentially be fighting hard with the Buccaneers for the division. It could happen. It could happen. But we shall see. There's a lot of things to look at now going forward. For our offense, like I said, addressing the offensive line definitely was a big thing. Ekan Hannon says, I feel we could finish second in the division. Atlanta will finish fourth, is my prediction. Yeah, Atlanta could finish at the bottom of the division, definitely. I think it's very possible. But yeah, I think with the offense, there's a lot of things that we got to look out for, which, I feel we got to look out for is this. 1, Sam Darnold. 2, the O-line. There's going to be a lot of spotlight on the O-line. See how they do. We got an improved O-line. Now we just got to see them in action and see them get it done. 3rd, will Christian McCaffrey have a bounce back year and stay healthy, as in play the whole season? Those are going to be the 3 things player-wise that stand out to me. The only other thing will be, all right, Ben McAdoo, out with Joe Brady and with Ben McAdoo, somebody who is an offensive coordinator and has experience. What will this offense look like? How is this really going to be ran? It's going to be really interesting to see what type of system Ben McAdoo will run. Are we going to see, some run heavy? He loves using tight ends. So I expect we'll see a lot of tight end usage, whether it's in the run game or in the passing game. But those are going to be the 4 total things that stand out the most. And maybe a 5th minor thing, but seeing what wide receiver may be the number 3 that will break out and be the number 3. Could be Terrace Marshall. Could be Rashard Higgins. Could be Brandon Zylstra. There's no telling who that number 3 receiver is going to be that's going to really break out for Carolina. So those are the 5 things on the offense that I'm going to really have my eyes on. Sam Darnold. I know a lot of people want to say, what about Matt Corral? I'm not going to get so heavy on Matt Corral until his number is called. Because like I said, I'm under the impression that Matt Corral is going to, sit, he's going to learn, he's going to develop. Because as much as people, don't believe in Sam Darnold, and it's totally understandable, I still hope that some way, somehow, he will succeed and bounce back. But if not, then, it's got to be next man up. But for now, big spotlight on Sam Darnold. He's got to be able to make better decisions, and he shouldn't be seeing ghosts. Secondly, the offensive line, because we have a beefed up offensive line. Because we got a beefed up offensive line. Hopefully, this will turn into a top 10 O-line. Thirdly, Christian McCaffrey. Can Christian McCaffrey bounce back and actually play a full season and be the productive back he once was? seeing how things go with the play calling. Looking at Ben McAdoo with this system, seeing what he can do with these pieces, how he's going to run this offense. And who's going to be the number 3 wide receiver to break out on this roster? Joe Valesco says, learn from who? I'm sorry. What are you referring to? Learn from who? Who's this? Can you elaborate, Joe Valesco? Just to make sure I understand your question. But those I feel will be some keys to the offense being successful again. I'm not worried about Robbie Anderson. I'm not worried about DJ Moore. Those are our 1 and 2. And I feel like that's how it's going to be. Because like I said, with Robbie Anderson, despite the drama and such, I'm not going to count him out just because he had a slump. Because at the same time, Joe Valesco says, Matt Corral learned from who? I mean, he's going to get coached up. And I mean, at the same time, as much as we hate to admit it, Sam Darnold is still a veteran. Despite him being 24, he has had more experience in the league. So, I mean, I'm just calling it like it is. I mean, that's the way that it has to be, Joe Valesco. I mean, Matt Corral's a rookie. I mean, you say, who's he going to learn from? I mean, he's going to have to sit behind Sam Darnold. He's going to have to learn from from Ben McAdoo, the coaching staff. I mean, it's not going to just click. Ekaim Hannon, he can learn a lot from Ben. Yeah, facts. And, from somebody who's actually an offensive coordinator. Not to mention, I don't know how much can be taken from Sam Darnold, but the dude has 4 years of experience in the NFL. May not be great, but he has four years of experience in the NFL. And the NFL and college, not the same. Definitely not the same. My thing is, let's hope that Sam Darnold can get it together and actually have a good year. Probably his first good year of his career while he's still young. Because he is still only 24 years old. So those are some things I'm going to really zone in on for offense. For defense, a couple of things. One, J.C. Horn. He's got to have a breakout sophomore year. So J.C. Horn. Number 2, defensive line production. I think it's going to definitely start strong with defensive line production. I mean, we still got Brian Burns. We loaded up on some young talent. Still got YGM. Brought back Marquise Haynes. We loaded up the interior a bit. Got Derek Brown some help. Matt Ioannidis. We still got Bravion Roy, Davion Nixon, Phil Hoskins. We got a young D line. We got a young D line, and I hope they're hungry. Because I feel like if they can look good, then the linebackers are going to look really, really good. And linebackers are also a concern for me. I mean, Shaq, Luvu, Littleton. This Brandon Smith, like I said, Damian Wilson, I'm iffy about because we don't even know if he'll still be here with what he's done. So linebackers, I'm still kind of iffy on. I hope it works out with our linebacking core, but I'm still kind of iffy on them, just a little bit. We got a young secondary, and the thing is, supposedly we finished last year as the number 2 ranked defense. I don't believe it. I honestly don't believe it. So this season is really going to say a lot of things. Young secondary, young D-line, done a little bit more shuffle in the linebacking core. Can the defense be that intense defense? And turnovers, especially interceptions and such. We were kind of lacking in the turnover department last season. So I really feel like this has to be a season where we really capitalize on getting turnovers, capitalizing on the turnovers we get, but also really increasing our turnover numbers, because they were kind of low compared to others and compared to previous years. I feel like we can definitely do better with the defense on turnovers. And if anything, just getting off the field, consistently getting off the field. Now, I know the offense has to do their part, but if we can get into a good groove of 3 and outs or get some turnovers, it's going to really, really give the offense a lot more opportunities and less, and, just less stress. Less stress. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited for come time for OTAs and training camps and all that and preseason. Like it's really gonna say quite a bit for how far this team has come. And of course, they got to go through. They got to sign rookie contracts. Take care of that. Which they should have the money for that. But yeah. Overall, great draft from the Carolina Panthers. Scott Fitterer, good stuff. Good stuff. Kamana says, I'm heading to training camp this year. Can't wait. Oh, nice. Very nice. Good stuff. But I'm just really excited for this team. I can't wait to see this team get to work. Can't wait to see our rookies in action, get their NFL career started. And, oh, yeah. Also got to keep an eye out. May 12th. The schedule releases May 12th. So I have to dive into that, come up with some predictions. But anyway, that will be all for this stream for tonight. Thank y'all so much for coming through tonight and chatting with me and chiming in. Thankful all the time for your participation. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the stream, and hit the notification bell so you know every time I upload or go live. But yeah, Panther Nation, keep pounding. We're making some really, really good progress. It's a lot of good things going. Scott Fitterer has been doing a great job. Hopefully, Coach Matt Rule, rest of the coaching staff, just a lot of collaborating there. And yeah, I'm excited for this upcoming season. But no matter what, keep pounding. But anyway, thank y'all so much for joining. This has been another Carolina Panthers Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the 2. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed day tomorrow, and I will see y'all very soon. Love y'all. Peace.